Hello friends and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be hanging out in downtown Orlando, historic downtown Orlando for that matter. Downtown Orlando was incorporated as a town in 1875, incorporated as a city in 1885, and there are buildings that are standing here since back in the day. I'm going to be showing those. I'm going to be doing some picture comparisons from when they looked like back in the day to what they look like today. Not only that, but some of the buildings here are actually haunted. So we're going to be talking about that. I'm going to be showing you around. I'm very excited. Look, there's a building over here. That is the train depot right over there. Has been standing here for a long time. This is one of the buildings that is known to be haunted. So we're going to be walking around downtown Orlando, talking about the buildings, doing some photo comparisons. I'm very excited to get in here, start filming this. I invite you to come join me. Let's go have a wonderful day. Today's video begins here in the corner of Garland and Church Street at this building over here. This is what's called the Slemons Department Store building. And this building here has been standing for quite some time. I believe it was built back in 1915. Slemons Department Store was a dry goods establishment from 1915 all the way through 1950. The store owner, which was William Slemons, came to Orlando in 1886. And as you can see, this building over here has a very old type of structure. You can tell right off the bat. I mean, this place has been here for quite some time. And there's actually a plaque over here that we can take a look at, kind of giving us a little bit of detail and story of Slemon. Let's go ahead and take a look over here. It says over here, Slemons Department Store. This is the address over here. And it says, Slemons Department Store was a major dry goods establishment from 1915 through 1950. William Slemons came to Orlando in 1886 and began a business on West Church Street next to Bombay Hardware, which is over in that direction, which we're going to be taking a look at that building as well. It says here, plaque was sponsored by the Orlando Community Redevelopment Agency. And yeah, you can tell this building is quite old, and you know, it's been here for a long time. It has stood its ground, and it looks, yeah, I mean, you know, sure, it looks like it needs some improvement, but it's still up and running and kicking, and this is awesome. You can also tell that all of this right here, this is Church Street, obviously. You can tell that all of this here dates back from back in the day. This is, let me go ahead and focus on here real quick. It says up there, Church Street Station. It's been standing here for quite some time. This is very historic over here. A lot of history, and I'm going to be talking about a lot of these buildings here. You can also see over here how they have an actual sign that says top 10 or 10 top ghost tours in the world. And here is, right here, American Ghost Town Adventures, featuring Church Street here in Orlando, Florida. Very historic. There are some buildings here, and I'm going to be talking about it, how they have some paranormal activities, or at least some people have experienced paranormal activities here in some of these buildings. This is still the corner of Garland and Church Street, and this building over here, that's building we took a look at already. And this building over here, you can tell that it's been here for quite some time. Back in the day, they used to build the staircase, as you see here, on the outside of the building, right? That's a way of escaping fire. And now you don't see that anymore, but you can tell that this building has been standing here for quite some time. I love how they took, you know, the time to put a little bit, you know, of details into this staircase. And if you walk around this way, you can tell that this building's been here for quite some time. This bar over here is empty. It's not operational. There's no one operating this, but let's take a look inside. You can tell that this is old, my friends. Look at up there, the second floor, all the way up there. Look at the second floor. It looks beautiful in there. Just so much woodwork in there. Amazing, amazing. Can you imagine how many people cross that threshold over there? Amazing, just amazing. I love historic buildings. Just beautiful. The woodwork in this, the details, just from back in the day, you know. See there? Very nice. Very, very nice. Right next to this Lemons building, we can see what is known to be the Ceviche building. This building was also built in the early 1900s, and there are some accounts of paranormal activity in this building. Some people say that they have actually seen a 19th century woman standing by a mirror here at the bar. People have also felt paranormal presence, actually them feeling something, somebody, or something pulling on their clothing as they were, you know, visiting this location. And this is a very old, obviously very old building. This is 1925 Church Street. And you can see here something very old. Actually, I'm gonna peek inside the window, see if I can see that mirror that they're actually talking about. If we take a look inside, you can see how this building has been here for quite some time, and maybe that is the mirror that they're talking about. And you know, it'll be nice to see some 19th century woman standing next to a mirror, but I don't see anything. But you can tell, you know, just the flooring here and that beam right there, that this has been standing here for quite some time. And I believe that this is an actual, not sure. I mean, I see some digital screens over there, so I'm assuming this is actually a business that is up and running. Not 100% sure. I don't kind of visit downtown Orlando at night. But yeah, this is a building that is known to be haunted here at Ceviche. Right next to the Bumby arcade is the Bumby block, the Bumby building, which was built in 1886. So folks, has been here for quite some time. Joseph Bumby, which is a popular figure here in Orlando. He even has a street named after him. Joseph Bumby Sr. Came from England in 1873, and he started selling hay, grain, and fertilizer from a warehouse on Church Street, which this happens to be it. It was actually the first railroad train depot back in 1880, before that building was built, and we're going to be taking a look at that. But this building has obviously been here for quite some time. Very historic building, as you can see up there on the very top. Let me go ahead and zoom in. It says there 1886. That is the year this building was built. And friends, there you have it, a piece of history here in Orlando, Florida. Very, very cool. And actually, I'm going to show you a picture from back in the day. You can tell here from back in the day. I mean, if you look at the road over here, it is still a dirt road. The cars weren't even invented. I mean, they were using horses back then, horse carriages back then. But you could definitely match up the building right there, my friends. And obviously right next to it is the train depot that's been standing here for a long time, which is also known to be haunted. So we're going to be taking a closer look at that. But just to go back to the Bumby building, there it is, 1886. Here is a picture from back in the day, matching it up. Very cool. One other thing to know about the Bumby building is that some staff has stated and claimed that they often see a little girl in the restaurant. Not only inside the restaurant, but also skipping along the sidewalk here. And you know, they also hear knocks on the door and knocks on the window. But this building also has a plaque over here, and let's go ahead and take a look and see what it says. It says here, Bumby Hardware, 110 West Church Street. Joseph Bumby Sr. came from England in 1873. He started selling hay, grain, fertilizer, stuff that I just mentioned. Actually, look, railroad arrived in 1880. His hardware or warehouse was used as a depot, and he was a ticket agent. Look at that, in 1886. Right there. Very cool. You can also see on this side of the building how the staircase was built on the outside of the building. And these archways here, I wonder how long they've been standing here. Obviously, probably, more than likely, since the building was built back in the day in 1886. Very cool. Obviously, the skyscrapers weren't here back then, but this was definitely here. I wonder if that little girl will peek out the window. Right next to the Bumby building, which served as the original train station back in 1880 here in Orlando, is the actual train depot that was built in 1881. I showed you the photograph how it was actually wooden back in the day. And back in the day, a lot of things were wooden. Why? It was just cheaper to build. However, because of fire, a lot of historic cities started building brick. And as you can see here, they actually made some changes, and now it is brick. And actually, this change was made in 1886. So this train station not only has been here a long time, as you can see there, the address 78 West Church Street, but it is also known to be haunted. As a matter of fact, I see right over here a plaque that we can actually read. It says, South Florida Railroad Company, 78 West Church Street. In 1880, the railroad came to Orlando from Sanford. So Sanford is another historic city, and I'm actually going to be making a video there. But it says, in 1881, a wooden station was constructed across from Bumby's store, which I spoke to you about, and a second constructed in 1886, built by Henry Plant, which Plant is a very popular name here in Central Florida, and dedicated in January 1890. So yeah, this building has also been here for quite some time, and it has also been closed off for a long time. It hasn't been operational in quite some time, and it is also known to be haunted. It is also known to have some paranormal activity, and people have claimed to hear small children running around. Because this building was actually not only a train station, but it was also, if I'm not mistaken, some type of like boarding house or some type of school. I don't recall exactly. I have like the worst memory, but I know that there has been some paranormal activity here, and actually this train station is still being used today. We might even see a train coming by. But let's take a closer look. Let's kind of explore it a little bit. Take a closer look. Let's kind of go ahead and take a look here. Peek past the fence. Right there. This has been here for quite some time, friends. And who's to know how many people have actually been through here. Amazing. Now those fans are moving. Why? Some paranormal activity? It's maybe just the wind, but yeah, you can see here it's been here for quite some time. You can see some of the windows boarded up. Very cool. You know, I would love to have access to the actual building, kind of walk inside, see what it feels like inside. But yeah, this is pretty cool. This bench here has seen a lot of days. There, you can hear the chirping of the birds. Look at that station wagon right there. Kind of like a, look at that. That is old school right there. You can see another wagon over here. So yeah, this train station has been here for quite some time and it's still operational. The building is not operational, but over here you can still catch a train. Right over here. Right over here you can still catch a train. So we'll see if one comes by. It'll be cool to see it. Well, it's pretty windy out here, but I was looking at this clock here. It's got some detail there. But I was looking at this clock here. I was wondering how long this clock has actually been there. I looked at some old photographs and didn't see it. So I'm just wondering when this clock was added. Now, if you look, time stopped here at between 39 and 40. So 4:39, time stopped right there. And then on this side, it stopped at 9:48. 9:48. What year? Not sure. All right, so now that we visited this side of Church Street, now we're gonna head over to this side and we're gonna be doing some more picture comparisons of some buildings, some historic buildings that are here in downtown. Now on this side of Church Street, we'll come across the Nicholas Collier building, which was actually built in 1911. This was actually the first African-American business owner here in the beautiful city of Orlando, which again was incorporated in 1875 as a town, but incorporated as a city in 1885. And there is an information placard over here, and we're going to go ahead and take a closer look, see what it reads. It says Nicholas Collier Building, 27 through 35 West Church Street. This two-story late Victorian building was built in 1911 for J.A. Collier, a tailor, and J.E. Nicholas, a baker from Canada. And it states here, was the only black land owner businessman in downtown Orlando during the early 20th century. This commercial structure has been used variously as a bakery, dry goods store, drugstore, tailor shop, and restaurant. So yeah, this building has been here for quite some time. Unfortunately, there are not a lot of like old photographs of this building, but you can tell. And if you look on the very top over here, and I'll go ahead and zoom in, but if you look on the very top over there, the white part, you can see that it says 1911, which was the year that this building was built. And you can see, you know, how old this building is. I mean, and I love the fact that they never really changed it. And it's quite ironic how this here is actually a customer of mine. And here is another plaque that you can see, J.I. Collier 1911. Very cool. Very, very cool. It's been here for a long time. This building here is known as the Elijah Hand Building. Elijah Hand came from Indiana back in 1885, and he built this building in 1905. This was actually the first funeral home here in Orlando. And this location is actually known to be haunted. There has been some paranormal activity. People have stated that they have seen a child there on the second floor. You know, it's very scary. I think it's been abandoned for quite some time. As a matter of fact, this building here was used as a film location in the movie Ernest Saves Christmas. And I'm actually going to be making a video about that movie. But this building here has been standing here for a long time, 1905 to be specific. Elijah Hand was the father of Carrie Hand, which took over the business. And there is a plaque over here, and let's go ahead and read it. It says Elijah Hand Furniture. This was actually a furniture store. Look at what it says. It says 1517 West Pine Street. Elijah Hand came from Indiana in 1985. He opened a furniture store and undertaking establishment. Wow. A typical combination as similar skills were required to build furniture and caskets. That makes a lot of sense. His embalming expertise changed burial practices in Orlando, allowing funerals to be delayed until out-of-towners arrived. So back in the day, obviously, you didn't have a lot of time to come over to a town. There was no planes, to view a family member, a loved one that passed away. In 1905, he purchased the Magnolia Hotel, built in 1881, which was located on this property. Okay. By 1907, Hand moved the hotel to the rear of the lot to construct his late Victorian brick facade, which merged the two structures. And I guess we'll take a look at that. But right across the street, his son, Cary, built this building over here, and we're going to take a closer look. So yeah, this building here was constructed by Elijah's son, Cary. And this is where they moved the funeral home to, and now it is home to UCF. And there's actually a plaque over here as well. Let's go ahead and read it. Cary Hand Funeral Home, right? So back then, this was a furniture store. They turned it into a funeral home, and then the son moved over here. He moved to Orlando, constructed this, and this became the funeral home. So it says Cary Hand came to Orlando in 1907 and brought his father's embalming business in 1914. He opened his funeral home in 1920, designed by architecture, that's his name, Tuscan style with a chapel, the first of its kind in Florida. Look at that. The crematorium, built in 1925, was the first in the entire South. The Cary Hand Funeral Home operated till 1987. Yeah, friends, so far we've seen quite a few historic buildings here in downtown Orlando. There are so many of them. I'm going to cover maybe a couple of others, and then I think I'm going to have to create a part 2 video, follow-up video, part 2 of historic downtown. It's just a lot of buildings here that have been standing here for quite some time, and I love this mural over here. Very cool mural. I think this mural is pretty new. Never noticed it. But yeah, there are a lot of buildings over here. I'm glad I've been able to show you some of them. And so I got a couple more I want to show you. Let's go. Now, this building that I'm standing in front of is the Angefield Hotel. This was built in 1923. And then back in 1990, it was actually used as the courthouse here in Orlando. But I also want to talk about how this building has been known to have demonic possession. There is an underground tunnel built between this building and this theater that I'm also going to be talking about. But yeah, this building here has been here since 1923, and it is now an office building, but it's been standing here for a long time. I'm going to do a picture comparison, but there is also a plaque there in front of the building that we're going to be reading. Just to kind of take a look at the hotel from this angle over here. You can see over there. I love how they put in some detail there, and I actually see an old electric box over there. I don't know if that's actually from back in the day, or they just kind of modified it to make it look like it's old, but I do like how it looks. I don't know if that's just aesthetics. Kind of looks like an old radio, kind of like that. Very nice. It's got the volume button there, the tone. So, wonder if this is original. But anyway, if it isn't, I like that they did this. Here in front of the hotel, you can see some of the old design and decoration there. You can see the big A for Angefield. You can also see that there on the door, that big A right there. And I'm trying to see if I can get inside the building, because they do have some old photographs of the building from back in the day. And then here's the plaque right there. Angefield Hotel, part of the commercial building boom in the 1920s. This 11-story hotel was built in 1923. And it also shows the person who actually built the building, and it was considered the jewel of downtown Orlando back in the day. Now this location does have card access, so I cannot get inside, but let's take a quick look inside there. You can see a lot of the older photographs of the Ange-built hotel there, and I would just love to get in there at some point. At some point I'll get in there. Very cool. So this building over here, as you can read over there, is the Beecham Theater, which actually was the first theater to ever come to Orlando. It was built in 1921, and as I stated earlier, there is a tunnel underground that led to the hotel. So back in the day, you know, people would actually stay in this hotel, go underneath the tunnel to go to the theater. I'm assuming the tunnel was probably used for people, you know, important people, executives that were staying at the hotel. But yeah, underneath here is a tunnel, and they're saying that there is a lot of demonic, you know, spirits in possession over there. So there is a website over here that kind of states, gives us a little bit of information. It says here, 1921, Braxton Beacom Sr. built Orlando's first theater. He also built the stores that extended to Washington Street, giving him 213 feet of frontage on Orlando Avenue. And then it also states here, right there, it says, Orange Avenue is a tunnel that before was blocked. About 30 feet into it allowed performers to an easy way to get to the Ange-built hotel across the street. See it right there. So here's a photograph of the Beecham Theater as it was built back in the day, and you can see there are a lot of changes to the theater. I mean, it looks completely different, but there are some things that I can actually match up. You can actually match up the staircase, which is right over there, and you know, you can see over here that there were some windows and doors, and we're actually gonna take a closer look at the building because I can see where those windows were. But these pillars here that you see in front of it, they're actually, you know, not there anymore. So it's definitely changed quite some bit. There's no windows there on the front either, but there are some things there that I can match up. You could actually see here how these windows there on the side match up with the building now, right over there. These windows there, but obviously there are none in the front. You can, however, kind of tell that they made some changes to the building, right? Because of this right here. You can see here how there's a crack right there. So I'm assuming at some point they covered up those windows there. So right there, that little crack right there kind of tells me that there was something there at some time. And I'm pretty sure over here, you see over here, how there's a little hole there kind of dividing it. So I'm pretty sure that used to be a door there. But obviously that was a long time ago. You can tell that these bricks here have been here for quite some time. And on this side of the building, you can see how there used to be some here. You know, you can see some cracks right over here, right here coming down. Like if this was windows, doors, you can actually see the difference right here where this used to be right there brick, and then over here it is not. So at some point they actually covered this up with this new brick. There's the old brick over there. So you can obviously match up the old photograph with the new now, and you can actually tell how this used to be the theater. Let me show you. I mean, here, how this used to be the theater back in the day. All right, friends, we're going to end this video today with the Rogers Building. The Rogers Building is one of the oldest buildings here in Orlando. It was built in 1886. And so we're going to take a closer look at it. There's a plaque there also listed. And one thing I want to say about the city of Orlando, they did a great job. They've done a great job preserving the history of this beautiful city. putting plaques in all their historic buildings. So there is one here on this building. Let's go take a look. All right, let's take a closer look at the Rogers building. Again, this is a building that's been standing here since 1886. You can tell they put a lot of detail on this building. Very, very cool architecture. Not sure what the name of this type of architecture is, but I can tell you that Gordon Rogers, he was an Englishman. He came to Orlando in 1886, built this building here, and he actually opened up an English club. It was located on the second floor, and with his wife also accompanying him, even though she wasn't very thrilled that he was having a club here, and but she had no other choice. But you can see here, this building is very, very nice. It is actually home to an art gallery, as you can see there. But this is one of the oldest buildings here in Orlando, and as we come across the corner over here, there's actually an information plaque that we're going to read. But yeah, this is actually this has actually been added, I can't even talk, as an historic building. It says here, Englishman Gordon Rogers came to Orlando in 1886 and constructed this Queen Anne style building. The English club was located on the second floor. The club sponsored dancers, theater, and other events for the large British community. Reportedly, the metal sidings and decorative details were manufactured in England in 1907. So that's the information plaque. And again, and Orlando did a great job putting plaques in some of these historic buildings. And I just kind of want to walk around the whole building, kind of taking a look at it. Here, it's a nice little mural here. But look, this is so cool. I love this building here. Very nice building. You can see here, we're standing for quite some time. So yeah, it's kind of funny how I've walked by this building so many times, but I never knew the history of it until now. Now that I'm getting a lot more love and fascination for historic buildings. And here's the Rogers building back in the day. Very old photograph of the Rogers building. All right, friends, we're going to end this video here, but there's a lot more historic buildings here in downtown Orlando that we're going to be taking a look at in video part 2. So anyway, thank you for joining me. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I'm going to end this video like I always do. We came, we saw, and we conquered. And do me a favor, have a wonderful day. Peace.